Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dark Souls 3. Now, I know this isn't what everybody was necessarily expecting. This is because I've decided that I wanted to replay this game, and I figured I might as well do it on the channel. The first episode of Sea of Stars went up, and it didn't really stick, so I'm probably just going to scrap that series. I'll still play through it on my own time. Maybe I'll do a review. I don't know. So, I plan on playing 2 on the channel still, but I want to play through this one first, because this one actually is in line with the Dark Souls 1 story, where Dark Souls 2 is not as in line. Like, there's references to the first game, but in the overarching lore, Dark Souls 2 really isn't that important. So, we're just gonna get right into it.
Yes, indeed. It is called Lothric, where the transitory lands of the Lords of Cinder converge. In venturing north, the pilgrims discover the truth of the old words. The fire fades, and the lords go without thrones. When the link of fire is threatened, the bell tolls, unearthing the old lords of Cinder from their graves. Aldrich, saint of the deep, Farron's undead legion, the Abyss Watchers. And the reclusive lord of the profaned capital. Yon the giant. Only in truth, the lords will abandon their thrones. And the unkindled will rise. Nameless, accursed undead, unfit even to be cinder. And so it is that ash seeketh embers.
Alright, so one thing I want to mention before we get into this, this is my first ever Souls game, and I have played this 40 times by now. This is probably my favorite game ever made, right next to Days Gone, which I also have probably around 30 plays, roughly. Although, I have not played this game in a significant amount of time. We are going to be running a knight. However, we're not going to go for normal sword build. I want to use the Great Hammer, because why not? I got good enough at this game to the point where I was able to do all bosses plus DLC in under 4 hours. The world record is, I think it's like 312 right now or so. Something like that, but I haven't played in a while, so I'm probably going to be a little bit rusty. I've done hitless up until Pontiff. I can do it deathless. Although it does take a bit of effort to do deathless, I'm obviously not going to try to die. I'm okay with talking through this cutscene, there isn't really a whole lot to it. So, I'm going to be doing all bosses plus DLC. I'm going to do the best of my ability to explain the lore without just having like hour segments of me talking. This is probably going to be a little shorter than Dark Souls 1, given I'm a lot better at it. I think this episode will probably end with me getting to the Undead Settlement. So, I'm going to start off right away by unequipping that, two-handing our sword. Now, as you can see, the UI and everything is pretty similar to Dark Souls 1. And that's because this game is, obviously, with it being in the series, is very similar to Dark Souls 1. However, the big thing that fucks with people is Dark Souls 3 was the very first fast Souls game. This game picked up the speed in the series a lot, which is why so many people struggled with it. Because it's seriously a very, very fast game. We're not going to take a shot at the Crystal Lizard quite yet. I'm going to kill Udix and come back for it. Just because we do need the Titanite scales. I'm also going to plan on doing all the mini-bosses, like the Stray Demon, the Crystal Lizards, all the... I forget what they're called, but like just the big demon guys with the hammers. Ooh, there's our first hit. I didn't think we'd be eating one before Udix. I remember my first time that I got a hitless run on Udix. I swear I almost pissed my pants. I was so happy. And the first time that I got a hitless on Udix, I think I ended up making it to Abyss Watchers hitless. I was so hyped. So we're going to rest of this bonfire super quick. And we are going to go ahead and collect all the items here, and then if I get hit, we will run back to this bonfire. I'm going to speed through a lot of this game, but I do want to stop and take a minute to look at like the set pieces, because this game is very good looking. It's an older game, so by now everything looks pretty saturated. As you can see, like if you look over at Firelink Shrine, it's like kind of like faded, maybe a little bit chunky, I guess. I would absolutely love to see this game remade, but that's probably not going to happen until Dark Souls and Bloodborne gets a remake. And I know, contrary to popular belief, I do think Bloodborne's going to end up, if not a remaster, at least a remake. Or if not a remake, at least a remaster. Maybe like a PC port. Because even with a PC port, that means that other people will be able to kind of remaster it through modding. Are you going to come behind me? Sometimes he gets pissed off, other times he doesn't. Ooh. That fucker. Alright, so now the way that you want to do this area here, you want to drop behind these guys to get the archer first. However, we're not going to quite do that yet. I'm going to come here and get the scale. Whee! Or shard, I mean. Oops. I missed the drop attack on him. That's a little embarrassing. Archer here. Now, past this wall here, you're going to find your first boss, but again, we're not going to go for him quite yet. We want to drop down here on this archer, get the plunging attack. Now, this guy here is a little bit of a fucker. If you can get him on the side of that, you can get him to fall off, but all of your attacks will bounce off of his shield, unless you break his stamina, which makes that a little bit tricky. Something I didn't run through. If this is your first time playing through the game and you're watching me for a walkthrough, I'd recommend not doing that unless you want to see like item pickups and everything, because I'm gonna be playing this very fast. A guy that I can recommend for a slower walkthrough, if that's what you're interested in, Mapaclops is really good, or Fighting Cowboy also has very, very good walkthroughs. However, they're a little bit spoilery, so if that's not your thing, then maybe avoid them. And I've also played through this game, I think, like 5 or 6 times on stream now. I should honestly start saving my stream VODs and uploading them here, just to prove that I can do this game in under 4 hours. So, this guy here, Udix Gandir. He is an interesting guy. That's where we're heading. Also, you get more mountain view. Now, if it isn't obvious enough, this guy's the boss. He doesn't activate upon entering his arena. However, one thing to keep in mind, this here is very easy to fall off. Try to stay towards that corner of the arena there. Don't get caught in the walkway there. Try not to get caught on the stairs there or over here. Otherwise, things will go bad. So, the sword that he has in him is one of the swords that were sitting in the bonfires in the previous games, and just like Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, there are bonfires that you use. However, in Dark Souls 3, the warping is a lot better, I would say, because the menu's a lot better managed, and you can do it right away. So instantly upon pulling the sword out, we're going to waste our entire stamina bar on heavy attacks on him. Missed the last one. Now, Udix, you want to stay to the right, and always roll right on most of his attacks. You don't have to dodge both of those thrusts, however, I do want to try to do him hitless. There goes the hitless. Now, this phase is very tricky for new players, because he picks up his speed a lot. One more hit, 2 more hits. Damn it. Damn it again. Oh, it'd be so sad if we died here. Okay, now he's gonna start doing a lot of jumpy shit that's delayed, so don't smack at him right away. Bam. I'm okay with that. That was a pretty okay Udix. I think my best Udix time was like 28 seconds, I think. So yeah, the sword that he had in him is that sword that's in the bonfire right there. We might as well rest here. I made that look relatively easy. I did almost die though, so I guess maybe I shouldn't say I made it too easy. So now, as you can see in the top left corner, I am embered. When you're embered, you gain a health boost, but if you die, you lose the ember. There are items that you can pick up that will give you embered, or there are bosses you can kill that will make you also embered. Now, there's a little side area down here that I actually didn't know about until like my second to third most recent playthrough. Let's get this guy back on the hill face, smack him until he either loses stamina or falls back. And with those guys, the shield guys always do light attacks, because that way you're using less of your stamina, but you're taking away more of their stamina and they're getting staggered back more. There are some enemies that, with like great shields, that you will clank off of, so be mindful of those. Ah, bastard. Thought I'd weaved far enough to the left. What are you looking at, buddy? Oh, you didn't fall off, usually you do. Should have kicked him. There are a ton of items outside of Firelink Shrine here, and I am going to fight the Swordmaster right away. Ooh, I missed that one. Well, I guess I say right away. I'm going to rest at Firelink first here. I believe this is the east-west shield, right? Yes, it is. Okay, now, there's a guy up here called the Swordmaster. He is a very difficult NPC, especially early game. We're going to fight him, we're going to kill him. I just want to rest at Firelink first to make sure that we have the nearest bonfire, along with progressing the game a little bit so I don't have to run back from Udix's bonfire. Come over here for an item. Don't remember what it is. Homeward Bone will take them. Now, Homeward Bones in this game are much more plentiful compared to the other two, along with the fact that eventually you get an infinite warping not weapon, item. However, it's towards the end of the game, but it is very, very nice. The way that I'm going to do this, I'm going to beat all of the main game bosses, not counting Nameless King. Then, once we get to the last boss, I'm going to go ahead and use the shrine thing, not the shrine, the bonfire there. Going to warp, do all the DLC, then we'll go do Nameless King, and then we'll go ahead and go do the last boss. Is probably the way I'm going to format this. So, this, I kind of ran through it. We'll go back up the stairs here super quick. this Firelink Shrine, which you might remember from the first game. Obviously, as you can see, this Firelink Shrine is very, very different. It is a different Firelink Shrine. It's not the same one, but it's very pretty. It's a very good-looking Firelink Shrine. Keep that item in mind. We're going to go get that later. We can't get it now, but we can get it later. So, one thing with Dark Souls 3 is it takes place significantly after the events of Dark Souls 1. The fire has faded multiple times since then, and multiple people have taken relatively close to the same journey that we have in Dark Souls 1, where you go kill a bunch of people and go keep the fire going. And once again, the flame is fading, and our goal is essentially the same thing, as we need to keep the fire alive. However, there since then have been these 5 people that have been tasked with constantly rekindling the fire. That's why they're called the Lords of Cinder, because they're supposed to be cinders to the fire in the event that it fades out. And they don't want to. Whether it be to going hollow or just being bad actors. As you can see, one of them's there. We're going to go talk to him in a bit. But they don't want to. So our goal is to basically go get them and gather them to keep them in check, if that makes sense. Rather than just up and making sure that the fire is okay ourselves. So, this here is the Firekeeper. She's a very nice lady.
Welcome to the bonfire, unkindled one. I'm a firekeeper. I tend to the flame, and tend to thee. The lords have left their thrones, and must be delivered to them. To this end, I am at thy side.
Alright, so, now different from Dark Souls 1, you level up at the Firekeeper, whereas in Dark Souls 1, all you did with the Firekeeper really was she had a quest, which I didn't do in my playthrough, along with leveling up your Estus at her. Here, you level up just with her rather than the bonfires.
Very well. Then touch the darkness within me.
Okay.
Take nourishment from these sovereignless souls.
Alright, so we are going to just dump all vigor for now.
Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide thee.
And we're going to get the rest of her dialogue in just a minute. Here we have the Shrine Handmaiden.
Pleasure to make thine acquaintance, Ashen One. I am but a humble handmaid of the shrine. Weapons, armor, trinkets, and spells. I've lots of little things to ease the burden of a weary traveler. And yes, I'm undead too, but not so charitable as to give my goods away. Ashen One, fetch souls and bring them to me. As is thy wont, no?
Alright, so this is a Shrine Handmaiden. She sells a lot of helpful items for new players. The only thing we're going to end up buying from her here is the tower key. And then, if I remember correctly, she also sells jail cell key, which we later need. So if you want to mess around with your build a little bit, she sells weapons. This isn't all she sells, either. Later on, she's going to sell a bunch of different items if you give her... they're called ashes. It's essentially the same as giving certain items to some of the other NPCs in Dark Souls 1, or doing their quest line in Dark Souls 1 to expand upon their shop inventory.
Ashen One, if my wares are not to thy satisfaction, bring me umbral ash. With ash, I'll fashion new wares. Is it not our sorry fate to sup on death?
I forgot she was just going to explain that, so I guess that's nice.
Knowest thou of that soppy gossip? That cordial intrusion layeth the path to embers. And so thou art in need of a soapstone, Ashen One. Then thy pockets will overflow with souls to trade to me.
So she's talking about the same soapstone that Knight Slayer gives us in Dark Souls 1. If you remember, the soapstones are used to summon and then invade other players, so she's essentially promoting us to commit murder for her.
Ashen one, if my
Ah,
wares are
didn't mean to
not
do
to
that.
thy satisfaction, is it
Okay,
not?
we've all heard that.
Ashen one, be sure to bring more souls.
And another thing to keep in mind, like I said, keep an eye out for those ashes, and you can also sell items to her right away, whereas Dark Souls 1 you cannot, and Dark Souls 2 you can't sell items right away, whereas here you can. Now, here we have a familiar face. It's Andre. Andre makes it through Dark Souls 1, and he's here now, which is awesome.
Well, a newcomer, I see. I am Andre. I serve at this shrine as a humble smith, forging weapons. You're in search of the Lords of Cinder, I trust? A toilsome journey, I'd wager. You'll require good arms. Let me smith you weapons. I am a smith, such is my purpose.
Hell yeah. So, another thing that's different about Dark Souls 3 is your equipment automatically repairs when you rest at a bonfire. Dark Souls 1 it doesn't, you have to repair everything, same with Dark Souls 2. So here, you can reinforce your weapons, you can infuse them, you can repair it, there's not any need to unless it just straight up breaks. And he is also who you give your Estus to. I've yawned every time. Every time I'm yawning. So we are going to allot our Estus for all life Estus flasks, because we aren't going to be using any of the mana ones. Again, you also give Estus shards to him, rather than the Firekeeper to level them up.
Weapons and protection are sturdy enough by and large, but when overused, they'll eventually break. When their durability is low, repair becomes a necessity. Use a powder, or simply rest at a bonfire. But should chance impel them break, bring them me. I'll hammer them back into shape. They take no pleasure in breaking, I assure ye. So handle them with care, if you would. There are two ways to smith weapons. Simple reinforcement is one, and infusion the other. Reinforcement is straightforward. It strengthens a weapon without altering its property. Infusion is a more advanced form of smithing that infuses an element. Reinforcement requires titanite, and infusion requires gems. Bring the stones, and I'll do the smithing. It's my purpose, after all. In battle, your weapons are your only friends. Forge them well, and they won't let you down.
And he gives you the hurrah gesture.
Another matter. Infusing weapons with gems requires a special kind of coal. My humble coals won't be any use infusing more unusual gems. I know, it's an awful shame, but it's all I have. Oh, please don't give me that look. Believe it or not, I'm quite thin-skinned.
So, just like Dark Souls 1, you have to use coals to give them to him to be able to infuse your weapons. However, you don't need coals in this to get to level 15 for a normal weapon. Whereas in Dark Souls 1, you need 2 coals. You get to go to +5 normally. You give him another coal, he gets you to +10. Give him another coal, he gets you to +15. Whereas here, you can go straight to plus. The max here is 21, if I remember correctly. It's 21 or 15, I can't remember. In one of the games, it's 21 rather than 10. I forget. I think it's this one. I haven't played this game in a hot minute, guys.
Oh, by the way, if you find any Estus shards, bring them here. They can be used to reinforce either of your Estus flasks. Without those flasks, you'd want for life or focus. And they'll always stay with you. Why not treat them well? Huh? Weapons and protect, but when
Okay.
overused, they'll eventually...
Stop emoting. So, one thing with Dark Souls 3 is emotes are tied to your controller movement. So sometimes you'll accidentally move your controller weird and accidentally emote. I don't know why the hell it happens to me so much. I've literally scrapped speedruns because I accidentally emote because I just forget to unbind them. So we're gonna come back here to the Firekeeper super quick.
Ashen, the mark of Ash will guide thee to the land of the Lords. To Lothric, where the homes of the Lords converge.
Okay, I didn't mean to skip her first bit of dialogue there.
Ashen One, to be unkindled is to be a vessel for souls. Sovereignless souls will become thy strength. I will show thee how. Ashen One, bring me souls plucked from their vessels. Ashen One, to
Okay.
Very well.
It's telling me. See,
Then
there's another
touch the
emote.
darkness within me, take
Okay. So 12:36 for my next one.
Ashen, may the
We're gonna rest here super quick. So, another thing I'm gonna do, I'm going to go ahead and unequip that Estus there. And now we're gonna go fight the swordsman. Like I said, I don't recommend doing this if you're a new player, because he will absolutely... Even, like, I've seen people, you can be around, like, Dancer area, and the Swordmaster will still fuck you up, because his moveset is just so spontaneous and brutal. He's a little bit easier if you know how to parry, but we're not gonna do that. We're not gonna be parrying throughout this playthrough. Now, one thing that's nice about running a strength build is we are going to be able to poise break with people quite normally. Whereas the Dex build, you don't poise break people as much. I didn't mean to do that. Ah, shit. Uh-oh. Well, now I have to reload the game. Because, just like Dark Souls 1, if you knock someone off a ledge, you can't pick up their items unless you reload the game. That is such a great start. That is so fun. Already 21 minutes in. Holy shit. I better get work. Oh, man, we are not getting to Vort then. Holy hell. Man, my best time on Vort's like... I want to say 10-ish minutes, probably. Around there. Because Vort has a... His path to him is very long. So as you can see, all the items here. He drops the Uchigatana and the Master's clothes and shit. The Uchigatana is a very, very good Dex weapon. If you plan on doing a sort of bleed Dex build, the Uchigatana can carry you all the way to the end of the game. However, there are better katanas for it in this, and better swords in general, just for bleed. So, now we're going to come here. We're going to go to the High Wall of Lothric. This is my biggest gripe with Dark Souls 3, is that Firelink Shrine feels super disconnected from the rest of the world. You have to... Okay, so like Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2, the Firelink Shrine is like your hub, and it's connected to the world. Here, it absolutely is not. And you can see the only reason that we're allowed to do this, you might be able to recognize this is a Lord Vessel with the sword next to it, which is interesting. If you remember from the Dark Souls 1 playthrough, if you watched that, the Lord Vessel was how you got to Gwyn, or the Kiln of the First Flame. So, keep that little bit in mind there, maybe ponder it a little bit. Here we are. High Wall of Lothric, baby. It looks so good, but so bad at the same time. Now, there's a bonfire down here. You can go off to the left or to the right. We're going to be going off to the left first, and then coming back through the area on the right after we open up a shortcut. This place is infested with very basic enemies called hollows. These guys. And there's also going to be one with a lantern down here. The lantern one's going to scream and alert everyone. We want to hit her before that scream is finished. Right, to kill all of these guys for easy souls. You can also backstab them if you really like the backstab animation and want to do it like 20 times. Ah, missed that one. But we're not going to do that. There is one here that will attack you, the one leaning up against the wall. So be mindful of him. If you don't one-shot him, like if you're running a build with a lower damage weapon, we have another one here. We're going to sprint towards it, smack it. Now, up here, there are two guys. As you can see, that one little shithead sword is sticking out there, and then we have another one there. This one here, that I have my helmet kind of next to now, he's going to throw fire bombs at us. We don't like fire bombs, so we want to bait this guy here. Smack him. Charged heavy. One tap. Up here are the binoculars, correct? Yeah. Stop emoting. I need to, in between episodes, I'm going to unbind all my emotes. So you can kind of get a better look at stuff. I never use the binoculars in Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 1 I do use them a little bit because there are certain cheese methods with the bow. These guys here just do normal attacks. However, there are hollowed knights here, I guess is what they're called. Heavy attack them. This one on my left here is going to have a shield. So be wary of that. Now you can drop down here. For pine resin, or gold pine resin rather, which will add lightning damage to your weapon in the event that you need to do lightning damage. There are a lot of bosses in the game that do take extra damage to lightning damage, so it is a good one to pick up. We got an item here, fire bombs. There's a guy behind this here, the shield guy that I was talking about before. Ooh, usually he focuses the other thing. There's our backstab. Awesome. I think we see a great axe guy here, right? Yeah. So, we're going to be going to that area later. Alright, pick up this item here. Now, this area here is a little bit of a mad dash. So first, we want to try to kill this spear guy as quickly as possible, which means that we don't want to get hit by him like I just did, but oh well. On the other end of this, there are a shit ton of archers. I think it goes without saying that we don't want to be shot, because being shot hurts. I need to go drink chocolate milk here super quick, otherwise I'm going to cough, and I don't want to cough into the mic. Enjoy that ASMR, you're welcome. Alright, so now if you walk up here, there's going to be a dragon that comes out. You want to get him to breathe fire and heal up. Then we want to bait him to breathe fire here. Come on. Okay, breathe fire down there. Now we're going to start mad dash here. We're going to be taking pretty consistent damage. We're not going to pick up these items here. Ooh, we made it. Now, you can kill this dragon up here to go get those items, but we're not worried about that quite yet. I don't even know if I'm actually going to do that, to be honest. So, come down here. Now, this chest, if you remember mimics, you can see it, this is curled away from, or curled towards me. Just like Dark Souls 1, if the chain is curled towards you, Mr. Dragon, can you please calm down? I'm trying to explain something. Thank you. If they're curled towards you, it's a mimic. If they're curled towards, or I mean, if it's curled, I'm gonna try this again, but with English. If it's curled towards you, it's a mimic. If it's curled away, it is safe. So we're gonna heal up super quick, and we are just going to ham on this guy. Now, just like the other game, Dark Souls 1, mimics are vicious. However, they have a little bit bigger of health pools in this one. That attack there, just like the other one, is their grab. If you haven't noticed, I'm going to be comparing this a lot to Dark Souls 1, having just played through it on the channel, and being also a very good game. You're not going to hear me draw many comparisons to Dark Souls 2, because I do my best to forget that. And he gives us the symbol of avarice and a deep balance. That's an extremely rare drop. Holy shit. I have never... I've even tried to farm for this drop, which obviously you can't really do because you can't really farm mimics that well. I have never gotten this before. Awesome! That's so cool! Holy shit, I've never picked that up before. Okay. As you can see, given its weight, it's really not that great of a helmet, admittedly. But I mean, it's still cool. It does give you plus 100 item discovery, which, if you're farming, it's actually really good to have on. If you use that with a rusted gold token, or a rusted coin or a gold coin, it'll make your life a lot easier. Now, we have a hard enemy coming up here. And by hard enemy, I mean an enemy that has killed me more times than I would like to admit. This is a Lothric Knight. In this section of the game, it's a mini-boss. However, later, they're going to become a normal enemy. When they're a normal enemy, they're still pain in the ass, but they're not as bad when they're just these guys. So, we're going to snag the bonfire before we fight him. Are you going to chase me? You are. Now, if you walk out this way normally, that guy will try to backstab you. Give me your item, thank you. So, beware of that. There are a few of them in here. We're also going to pick this puppy up. I think I've got one chasing me right now. So, we're going to come up here. We're going to get this bonfire. In a second, I want to pick up the Titanite shard back here. I almost said scale again. We aren't going to be upgrading this weapon. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get the broadsword. I'll upgrade that until I'm able to get Vort's Great Hammer, and then I'll just upgrade Vort's Great Hammer. So, we have a few souls on us. But we're, well... fuck it. We'll risk it for the biscuit. We'll kill this Lothric Knight, and then we're gonna go back. I want to kill him quite literally just to prove myself. Are you gonna throw a knife at me? No. These guys are also very fast. Something to keep in mind. I did not mean to roll. Well, I guess we're fighting him up here on this balcony. Come on, Mr. Lothric Knight. Let's see if I lose my ember. Come on, buddy. Welp. Okay, good start. Great start. Jesus Christ, he's cooking me right now. Pop heal quick. Alright, stuck, dummy. Jesus Christ. That attack is a bitch. Absolutely watch out for that attack. Sometimes he'll follow that attack up with a thrust if you're far away. The reason that I'm spamming my R2 special ability is because of poise breaks. Man, he's hit me with that thrust every time. Man, my ranging ability just showed there. Fuck. He cooked my shit. And he dropped a crossbow. What is my RNG right now? Holy shit. I'm going a little bit crazier. A little bit crazy right now. Okay, so we're just gonna go ahead and head back to Firelink Shrine now. Level up, sell some shit. Similar to Dark Souls 1, you usually want to hit about 30 to 40 vitality, and with me doing strength build, I'm gonna need to get 30 endurance as well. Come here and sell some shit.
Well met, Ashen
Stop emoting.
How may I be
Please.
of service?
Please stop emoting. That shit's gonna drive me nuts. Okay, so all these. We aren't gonna need throwing knives, we aren't gonna need fire bombs. I am gonna keep the resins. Sell the binoculars, sell the Uchi-Katana, sell the deep battle axe, sell the crossbow. Sell this, sell this.
Ashen 1.
Okay, I don't have anything that I need to give you. This is going to be a super quick cut in the recording. I will be right back. Thank you kindly, ma'am. Now, you might have noticed this guy sitting here. Earlier, we're going to talk to him now.
Ah, another one roused from the sleep of death. Well, you're not alone. We unkindled are worthless. Can't even die right. Gives me conniptions. And they'd have us seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. But we're talking true legends with the metal to link the fire. We're not fit to lick their boots. don't you think? What a sick joke. Asking us to seek the Lords of Cinder and return them to their moulding thrones. We're talking true.
Alright, had a weird problem with my mic there. I tried to mute when I was doing his audio, but then it didn't mute, but then it did, so I don't know if the first section of this recording is going to be muted or not. I really hope it isn't. If it is, I'm sorry that it took me this long to notice. So, as you can see, this guy is sad. That's all there is to him for now, as he is just sad. And I wonder... I don't remember when this guy... He is here! Now. If you remember all the way back to Chester from Dark Souls 1, how I said he looked like he was from Bloodborne. This is another character that I believe, and a bunch of other people believe, to also be from the Bloodborne universe, which also just proves my theory, or not proves my theory, but adds weight to my theory that all of the Souls games are connected. Or rather, the Souls universe.
And fast on the trail of the Lords absconded? Then these red eyes are for you.
Sweet.
Use them to pillage embers and briefly heighten your strength for your duty. What else are unkindled ashes good for?
Alright, so he gives us some stuff to start invading.
Pillage embers for briefly heightened strength for your duty. What else are unkindled?
Alright, so later on, he's going to give us some more kind of like PvP rewards, I guess. Seeing as we don't have a covenant now, he's kind of the guy you talk to do PvP before a covenant. Also, I need to go talk to Ludlith. So, like I said, as you can see, one of the lords is actually in his throne, which is Ludlith, and that's because he wasn't given the option to leave. Because, as you can see, his legs are gone.
Oh,
So,
thou art unkindled, and a seeker of lords. I am Ludlith of Corland. Look not in bewilderment as I say. I linked the fire long ago, becoming the Lord of Cinder. If substantiation be thy want, set thine eyes upon my charred course. This sad cadaver, no need to be coy. Have a closer look.
alright, we like
Knowest
Ludlith.
thou of
Ludlith
our
is cool.
laws? 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast fading flame must be linked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a Lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a Colossus. Knowest thou
I think
of
that's
our
all he
purpose?
says, yeah.
5 thrones will
Yeah. Okay. So later on, he becomes a very nice NPC to have. He's basically who we give our boss souls to, but we can't do that quite yet. Speaking of, did I sell my stuff? I did. Okay, so now we're just going to go back to the High Wall of Lothric, or no, Tower on the Wall, I believe it's called. Yeah. And we are going to continue on from there. So I really want to end this episode with killing Vort, but I don't know. It might happen, but it might not. I'm gonna push for it. Okay, so I know I said this guy was like a mini boss, but he does respawn, unlike most mini boss enemies. We're gonna go ahead and come here. That guy's gonna jump out. Are you gonna throw a knife? You are not. I should have mentioned that those guys can throw knives if you try to range yourself. We have 2 more here. We're gonna smack this one. And this one's gonna come at us. We're gonna give him a good old barrel trick to bait and attack. Just slap away at him. Now, down here is that man. Ooh, he even turned his back. What a rookie mistake. I think it goes without saying, this guy does a lot of damage. Are you gonna do a push? Yes, you are. Most of the enemies in Dark Souls 3 you can deal with just by rolling to the right of them. That gate we're going to worry about later. And there's actually a gate in here we're going to worry about later, but I just want to pick up the items. There's a guy there, he's going to throw a firebomb once we piss him off. If we piss him off. And all of those crates explode, so be very careful. Alright, we have another item that we're going to pick up here. Throwing knives, I got an itch on my back super quick. Okay, and to our left we're going to have another bandit. We're going to smack at, whack whack. This is the Mail Breaker, which is essentially a weaker parrying dagger. There we can see our dragon. I was going to call him our dragon friend, but that's not true. And in here, we have a guy called Grey Rat. We're going to come back for him later. We have a key that we need to get to unlock him. He's a very, very nice NPC to have. So can't you... Yeah, you can also see into later in the level through that there. Which I'll show that window once we get to there. Alright, so now we're gonna head up. Now, if you're new to the game, I would recommend equipping fire bombs right here. For worst case scenario, you'll see why in a moment. I'm gonna smack this guy's hands, knock him off. This guy here is gonna climb up. Okay, I guess that works. Are you coming back up? He is. We'll wait for him. He's not coming back up? Alright, fuck you, buddy. Now. Over here, one of these is going to explode into a Pus of Man. Now, Pus of Man is what exploded out of Udic Skindir. We want to kill the hollow before it explodes. I believe it's this one. Alright, we got it. Always smack it twice. It doesn't matter what weapon you're doing it with. Just to be safe, always whack at it twice, because you can kill the hollow. And sometimes it seems like it still spawns, so just to be safe, smack at it a few times. Now, hopefully the Titanite Lizard didn't despawn. Did not. Just like Dark Souls 1, smack these guys for some... That gives you a raw gem. I could put a raw gem on the broadsword if I wanted, so now we're gonna do this. Boink. I missed. Tragic. Do this. Oh... Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. I just fucked up so bad. There's one more, isn't there? No. Oh my god. I accidentally backstepped. There's our first big fuck up. I didn't mean to do that. Well. First death? Nope, not quite. Surprisingly enough. Okay, we need to go. Man, this is not going well. If you know you're gonna get hit, by the way, press L1 to block. It'll reduce the damage you take. That means I'm gonna have to do this up here. Taking a minimal amount of hits. Honestly, I'm just gonna... I'll snag this item here. And then I'm just gonna go back to the bonfire. Except I'm gonna actually get it this time. Oh shit, it doesn't even spawn up here. We're not in New Game Plus. Oh, dummy. Alright, well, we'll pick these up. And I'm gonna run back to the bonfire super quick, so I'll see you guys once I get there. Alright, we're back. Just heard that Pus of Man explode up there because I ran past him. This archer is gonna follow us. Oh, my roll timing's off for archers. I've fucked up a few archers now. God damn it. So, now past here is probably going to be one of the hardest enemies you're going to fight in the early game. It is a Lothric Spear Knight. These guys are absolute monsters. They have a great shield, and they also deal a fuck ton of damage, and they're very... Thief. Yep. Almost forgot about you. I functionally forgot about you, because you got to hit me with that attack. God damn it. So, that's the area I was talking about right up there that we could see down to. Now, this guy... Maybe... For shits and giggles, maybe we'll go ahead and do this. Bam. Again, I made that look kind of easy. It's not as easy as it looks. Pick up the soul here. Let's go ahead and unequip these. I just figured I'd whiff a few at them, because why not? Now, we're gonna dodge over here. Come over here and pick up an item. I don't remember what the item is. I want to say it's the grass? Yeah, green blossom. Okay. So, as you can see, there's a little enemy there that's going to try to jump out at us. We want to smack him. We get this corner here. Ah, god damn it. There's a lineup you can do where you don't get hit by him. Now, the broadsword is essentially a better version of the longsword. As you can see, not only does it scale significant, well, it scales one better, it's on C. It just deals more damage, has better durability. It's just a better weapon. Its moveset's a little bit different, but it functions very, very similarly to the longsword. And the broadsword can actually carry you not only to the end of the game, but through all the DLC. So just something to keep in mind. It's a pretty good weapon. Smack you. Now, down here there's going to be an Estus shard, which we're going to need to get, because I do want to get all of... I want to max Estus. Just because it's very helpful, especially for two of the bosses that we're going to be facing. I think Dark Souls 3 has probably some of the hardest bosses. Not even probably, I'd say Dark Souls 3 actually just has the hardest bosses next to Bloodborne. Because they're very... Dark Souls 3 demands agility. And a lot of agility at that. Is the Great Axe guy going to come through here? Can I stamina dump kill you? Not quite. Okay, we're gonna Titanite Shard. Yep. I remember where most of the items are. Now, we're gonna try to bait just one of these guys. Motherfucker. Go ahead and heal. And with 3, it's gonna attack. Hit him with another 2 to kill. Now, right here, we have an Estus shard, which we're going to pick up. Piss this guy off. Bait his attack. Now, there's going to be... Is it 1 or 2 dogs down here? Don't remember. We're going to have 1 dog. Just walk slow, and he won't piss off. He'll be able to get close enough to get a charged heavy end, which I believe should insta. It does. Now, we have the cell key. This is the key to the guy, that Grey Rat that I was talking about. Now if we come here, this is where we drop down to on accident. We are not going to fight this Angel Knight right away, because he's a fucker. He hurts. Rapier, right? Yeah. He does drop, I believe, an Ember. So he just walks around in the circle, and if you do piss him off, don't worry, he is relatively easy to run away from. Go ahead and run here. Now there's going to be a swordsman off to your left-hand side. Don't be tricked by him. After you smack this, he's going to start running up after you. Let's do that. There's going to be another super quick, weird cut. I apologize. We're back. Sorry about that again. So I'm not going to have time to get Vort in this episode. We're going to start next episode with Vort. I'm gonna go ahead and open up a shortcut. Also going to get this Ring of Sacrifice over here. Rings of Sacrifice are also very good for new players. We want him to go ahead and walk away. So like I said, we don't want to fight him. Now, if you do this right, you can actually do all this without taking fall damage. Jump here. Alright. So now we're going to run up here for a very, very nice shortcut. So if you remember how I talked about how I wasn't going to go off to the right, there's a door here that we get to open up, which will help us. We have another green blossom here, or 3 of them rather. Now, once we smack this guy here, he's going to call in a bunch of his little buddies. If you're fast enough, you can hit them before they come over the wall, but even if you don't, for most weapons, they're going to be a one-hit kill. Now, we have a lift here, which we're going to take up, which is going to lead us to our shortcut, which is very, very nice. And I think throwing knives, right? Yeah, I remember most of the items in this. Get this. Now, to your left, there's going to be a guy with a great axe, along with another swordsman, so just be careful. Because as you've seen before, they are not a nice enemy. Smack this guy. The great axe guys hurt very bad, and they have pretty high poise, but luckily, like I said, we're running strength build. Now, there are going to be dogs up here, and that dickhead archer there. We want to try to piss the dogs off first, and then bring them down here. The Dark Souls 3 dogs are vicious because their tells are basically non-existent, and they can also evade attacks very well. Come on, bitch. Oh, I did not want to piss you off. I was late. I mean early. Oh, I could have plunging attacked there if I'd done that right. Damn it. Alright, might as well just chug the rest of this Estus, because we're going to be heading right back to the bonfire after this. Smack you, smack you, question mark. So now, this here will take us right back up to the bonfire. There's that shithead archer that's shooting at us, you might remember that? What am I looking at for time? 2 minutes. I got time to explore this area here quick. This is going to be cutting it close to the hour mark. If you don't know, I play on PlayStation 5, and the upload thing for PlayStation 5, it can't be over an hour, which complicates things sometimes. I'd love to just do this as a one-sitting playthrough of one episode. We have another Puss of Man here, who we need to get rid of right away. Smack all of these guys, because fuck them. We have this thingy here. We've got a longbow with a few arrows. Obviously, we're not going to be using a longbow. I think I already said I'm not going to be using a bow or anything. Smack these guys. But if you do end up needing a longbow for any sort of cheese or anything of that sort, there it is. So now we're just going to run back up to the bonfire. And with that said, that is going to be the first episode of Dark Souls 3. If this is something you guys are interested in me playing, if there are certain things you want me to do or not do, make sure to let me know in the comments. I reply, I read every single comment that gets put on my videos. If you were to share the video around, like it, subscribe, I'd appreciate it very, very much. But with that said, yeah, peace.